Welcome. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast. Welcome to our love streaming. Welcome to my living room. I'm Reverend Theresa Feeberts, and I am just so happy that you are with us this morning and that you've invited me into your home or wherever you happen to be. It's been 29 weeks that we've been doing this love streaming. Yeah, 29 weeks. Every Sunday we have been we've been on both Facebook and YouTube. And you can go back at any time to either Facebook and YouTube and see those archived messages. And so I hope you take advantage of that. And I just want to take a minute this morning and say I miss you. I do miss you. And I don't necessarily get to see you when I'm doing this. I'm looking into a camera. But I know you're there, and I appreciate that because it feels really good. And I get to see some of you after the service on Sunday mornings because we do that Zoom social hour. And that's been really, really enriching for me, as I hope it has been for everyone else that tunes in. We've shared and we talk about the service and we get to know each other a little better, and it's really been a fun time. I want to tell you about another opportunity that we have coming up for seeing each other and having a little bit of sharing, and that is November 15th. It's the second Sunday in November, November 5th, 3rd, I apologize, third Sunday in November. We're going to have our annual meeting, our membership meeting. Members and friends are welcome to come. We'll have it after the service that morning at 12:30. That gives you an opportunity to go grab a sandwich, get a cup of coffee, go to the restroom, that kind of thing, and come back on. This is, I guess, technically our second annual. Last year we had the big party. We had our installation where everybody proclaimed their membership, and I was installed as the minister, and our board of directors were installed, and our practitioners were honored, and all of that. So anyway, we'll have a more of a business meeting this year, and again, it'll be on Zoom. So everyone's welcome to participate in that. Science of Mind is a philosophy, a way of life, which has changed my way of life since I discovered it. And I'm now at a point where I can see blessings in everything, in everything. And it's not immediate. Sometimes it might take me a day or two. It might take somebody else reminding me of that truth, but I can go there. I can go there. And so I invite you there. I invite you into that place where we see beyond conditions. We see through conditions. We see truth. We see God. And the myriad of ways that it shows up in our lives, because each one of us live and move and have our being in this incredibly creative and loving and intelligent universe, that source and substance of life itself. Call it energy, call it source energy, call it spirit, call it God, whatever we choose to call it. It provides for us a unity in which we live in, and interconnectedness of all life. And when we begin to recognize and wake up to that's how life operates, and that its premise is good, it's of love, it's of expansion and growth. And life really is easier. It's an easier way to live. It's an easier way to live. So it's a spirituality that we can use, and that is what we've been doing all month long. All month we've been busting our fears, right? And I invited you to send me your fears, and I want to take this minute to thank everyone who did that. It's been humbling for me, and it's been enriching for me to delve into how we turn those around, and I hope it's been as enriching for you as well. We're releasing fearful, negative, oppressive type thinking so that we can participate in our own evolution the evolution of our consciousness, and thereby the evolution of humanity. I mean, nothing less than transformation, than all of us waking up to our spiritual magnificence. That's what we're talking about here. So, for those of you that received the Science of Mind magazine, if you read this morning's, I thought it was really brilliant, really beautifully done, and the title was Mental Sunshine. Mental Sunshine. And she utilized a quote from Ernest Holmes where he said, "We're making our environments by the creative power of our thought." We're making our environments by the creative power of our thought. So I want to take that idea into a quick opening treatment for each one of us, a bath, a treatment for our minds. So settle in with me, if you will, in this moment, releasing the busyness of the morning or the to-do list for this afternoon, and just be here now with me. Be here now. And when we take our attention and bring it inward, away from the external busyness of life, from the material world, from the world of experiences, good or bad, and we shine the light within, what I see is expansiveness. What I see is an infinite array of possibilities. And what I feel is unconditional love. In this place that is unaffected, changeless, expansive, I find guidance. I find safety. I find a deep, deep comfort. Here within lies all the peace that I would ever seek. All the love, all the joy, all the truth, all the insights, all the creativity and the intelligence that is mine to bring into the world. It is here that I touch upon it. And I am so incredibly grateful for that. There is indeed a mental sunshine available. It is here that I release the negative dark clouds, the thunder of anger, the lightning of fears. I release it. I release it all here. And in its place, I build within myself an environment of gratitude. Gratitude for all the gifts that I have been given in this lifetime, all that is yet to be revealed, all that I touch upon and that I know about life itself, God, Spirit, in, as, and through me. It is here that I simply am overwhelmed with gratitude. I am overwhelmed with gratitude for technology that continues to connect us each and every Sunday morning during this time of a pandemic. It is gratitude for our practitioners that continue to know truth for us collectively and individually as we experience our ups and downs of life. It is here that I have gratitude for the solace that I find in my spiritual practice and for the strength and the change that it brings in my walking around world. I'm truly grateful to this thing called Science of Mind, to Ernest Holmes and all his teachers before him and all my teachers since then, and for all my students that continue to teach me. What I know for myself as I bask in this mental sunshine is that right where each one of us are, in Sarasota, around the country, around the world, I am grateful. I am grateful for the connectivity that we have in this moment and for the truth that we share this morning and for the change that we experience in our lives to be able to express our divinity and to recognize and see and respect the divinity all around us. I'm grateful for all the gifts that come from this moment, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you for joining me in that. And we have a treat this morning. We have Mindy Simmons back with us. It's been a few weeks since we had Mindy, and our love has been with her, and we're so happy that she's here to share with us this morning. So please welcome Mindy Simmons.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Good morning and namaste. Fear and worry have been a part of my world, and I'm ready to shed it and get rid of it and not let it eat me up. A friend of mine sent me these lyrics and said, "Could you put some music to this?" And I said, "Yes, by golly." This is what I came up with. This song is called A Better Way. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way to get people to see the other page, come closer together, not farther away, so we can make a brighter day. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way to live as we're intended. Instead we fuss and fume and shout till everything's upended. Well, you've got your ways and I've got mine, and like a family blended, together let's find common ground so none will be offended. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way to get people to see the other page, come closer together, not farther away, so we can make a brighter day. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way for everyone to see that freedom is the highest state for all humanity. To get there we must all agree that this can be achieved, and then work together hand in hand in loving harmony. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way to get people to see the other page, come closer together, not farther away, so we can make a brighter day. There's got to be a better way. The path is through intention, not violent intervention. No, no, not greed for power and domination. The path is loving congregation. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way to get people to see the other page, come closer together, not farther away, so we can make a brighter day. There's got to be a better way. We've got to find a better way. Come on, let's all make a better way.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Mindy. Ernest Holmes said, "It's wonderful to contemplate the mental attitude of people who are not afraid to believe that their prayers will be answered." This really touched me because my mother had a PhD in worry. She lacked the ability to release the worry, which Theresa was bringing up today. I used to watch her pray, and then she'd worry. And I said, Mom, what are you worried about? You just prayed. She said, well, I'm worried my prayers won't be answered. So I was like, whoa. It's easier to live, as Theresa said, when you have faith that your prayers are going to be answered. So I found an article that last night, before I went to bed, said, believe in prayer. And I thought, this is perfect. Have you ever been so upset that you couldn't find the words to pray? Me too. Some of my most profound experiences of prayer have happened when I didn't have the wherewithal to utter a single word. Instead, I cried, knowing that all my jumbled up feelings were being held by the one that adored me, and he knew exactly what I needed. That's prayer. I used to hold those I cared about so tightly, trying to make sure they were safe and happy. And then I remembered how much I had gone through in my hardest challenges. And shouldn't I be giving them the same opportunity? How else are they going to know how capable they are? So I changed my focus. I have to save them to, this is their chance to grow. My angst wasn't what they needed. It was my prayers. My belief in prayer sends vibrations of hope out into the whole world. A bounty of peace, joy, love is available to each one of us. Today, my prayer is for all to know it, feel it, and accept it. O infinite Creator, hold us softly in your great love and remind us that your light connects us to all people and all things. The light alive in each of us. May we remember that we're here on purpose, created to shine the light of love and peace and joy, all in our own ways. Today, may we know the truth of our being and live from the knowing. The affirmation is, no matter what that might sound like, my prayers are always heard by the one that cherishes me. Thank you.
So I serve a temple, a Jewish temple, and some of the times I am asked to learn prayers that are just exquisite. And this is one I bring to you. It's called Return Again. When I'm lost and I feel all of that worry, and I have a degree in fear and worry too, I meditate. And this song is called Return Again. This speaks to me of meditating and returning to your center, returning to the knowing of who you really are. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, Return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again. Return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again. Return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again. Return to the land of your soul.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Mindy. I loved that. Really loved that. Loved both of your songs. They were beautiful. And Susie, thank you so much. That was lovely. Just lovely. I too have a higher degree in worry, although I'm losing it. I'm shedding it. I'm shedding it. So Ernest Holmes, the founder of this teaching, he was a great synthesizer, studied all religions, and psychology and philosophy and science, um, suggested to us that faith and fear are two sides of the same coin, right? Two sides of the same coin. And so last week we talked about the anatomy of fear and faith. And we discovered that yes, that is absolutely true. It's the same thing. The creator of thought and the creator of fear is what? Thought. It is thought. And so this month, I've been encouraging you to look at your own personal fears du jour. I've asked you to send to me what your fears are. And so that we can learn to flip that coin to the winning side of life, right? And it requires a new skill, maybe, or at least a sharpening or honing of our skills. And the way that we've been approaching this is by looking at the spiritual principles, the truth about life, and the practices that we can utilize to help turn that coin, flip that coin. So last week, taking your fears that you had been discussing with me or sending to me via email, and we were health oriented last week. And it's interesting, I saw an article last night right before I was going to bed, just like Susie reading late at night. And it was a Rolling Stone article interviewing the Dalai Lama. And he started with talking about our worries around the pandemic and our fears about that. And he said, hopefully the scientists and the doctors find a solution to it. And if the doctors and the scientists find a solution to the pandemic, then we have no need to worry. And then he said, and if the scientists and the doctors don't find a solution to the pandemic, we have no need to worry. Yes? So today, we're looking at our interpersonal relationships, really all relationships, our relationships with ourselves, our relationships with others, and our relationship with our country, with our fears around our beloved country. And last week I started with a Bible quotation, and I'm going to do the same today, 2 Corinthians, where Paul said, we look not at what can be seen, but at what cannot be seen. For what can be seen is temporary, and what cannot be seen is eternal. That's the spiritual principles that we're talking about, right? These eternal, universal ideas. So obviously, we're free to think any way we want, right? We're free to think any way we want. We are free to be a Eeyore, Piglet, or Pooh, and we are free to hang out with Eeyores, Piglets, and Poohs. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I encourage you to go look at my Facebook post yesterday that I shared from Reverend Shell Redfern from the CSL in Cape Coral. We are free to watch whatever TV programming we want. We are free to watch whatever movies we want, whatever news we want. Isn't it amazing? We live in a country where we have these freedoms. We are free to obsess about what we don't want. We are free to wallow in our fears. We are also free to think about what we do want, to have constructive, creative thinking about what it is that we want, because we're creating from either place. We're creating, and the choice is ours. Thomas Troward, who was a theoretical inspiration to Ernest Holmes and to this thing called Science of Mind, really studied, and a lot of his focus was on the evolution of humanity and how the evolution of humanity is dependent upon our continuing to raise our thoughts, beyond and above the law of averages, which he called it. So Ernest Holmes might have called it race consciousness. Carl Jung called it the collective consciousness. Abraham would encourage us to consciously tune into the vortex, right? To align ourselves in the vortex. Whatever we want to call it, it is from that place, from this higher place of thinking, that we want to co-create with the divine what it is that we want to experience in our own personal lives and for humanity, to create that world that works for everyone. So our limited thinking is found in the race belief. Our limited thinking is found at the law of averages. It's not progressive, and it's not truth. It is not truth. Scarcity, war, divisions, hatred, violence, they are not of spiritual principle. They are not your truth, and they hold no spiritual power. We give them power. We give them power by our obsession. We give them power through our belief. We give them power through our thinking. They can be our teachers, though. They're not all bad. They can be our teachers. They help us understand the power of our thought, right? And it shows us the two sides of the coin. So bondage is of our own creation, whatever kind of bondage we find ourselves in. And it will stay and it will serve us until we no longer need it. That's just the way it works. So I'm done with a lot of these fears. Are you? I'm done. I'm like up to here with a lot of these fears. And in the Science of Mind, we teach that we really want to cultivate, to have a deep sense of reverence for the life that flows in and through us, through all things. Respect for ourselves and for each other, a confidence in ourselves, and an assurance that everything's right with the world, that everything is right. It is unfolding as it should. And this is what I really pray for each one of us, that by the end of this message this morning, that we have a renewed sense of what this world is about, what life is about, and where our place is in it. I've been listening to your fears for a few weeks now, and we have the power, we have the tools to flip this coin. So let's look at fear number one. We're gonna get busy. Fear number one. Many people wrote in about other people's fears or other people's behaviors being a fear for us. Mostly people's anger. When other people are angry, their harsh words, their foul language, their aggression shuts us down. Makes us cry. It scares us into a sort of submission, right? Where we're unable to engage in further conversation. We're unable to communicate really what it is that we want. And so people feel hurt. And there's a thinking that people hurt me, or people can hurt my feelings, or even people could hurt my soul. So there's a protection from that. But first, let me talk about the soul and hurting our soul. The soul is beyond harm. The soul is beyond harm. The soul is who we divinely are. The soul is that part of us that knows we are divinely created, that knows we are eternal in nature. It's untouched by life's hurtful experiences. And so the protection from that is from hurts of all kinds is for us to be in that place, to have an awareness of that part of us that is untouchable, that is one with the divine, that has come from divinity and returns to divinity. The nature of all our relationships come from these knowings, these deep beliefs that we have. And our relationships with other people rest upon what we think about ourselves. What we think about ourselves, how we think about ourselves, and what we think about life itself. And I've been asking you or suggesting that we're challenging those deep beliefs when we're challenging our fears. So again, my very strong desire is that we know ourselves as divine beings, as divine incarnations, that we know ourselves and each other as sons and daughters of the Most High. So I don't think any conversation about fears would be complete without sharing Marianne Williamson's, at least part of Marianne Williamson's poem, Our Deepest Fears. I know that many of you are familiar with this. In the poem, she writes, "Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine, as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us." This is a truth. This is a universal spiritual principle. And at the risk of sounding like a broken record over the last several months, I'm going to remind us of a practical step that we can take in this way. Beyond mindfulness meditation and being in that place of really communing with our divinity is to learn nonviolent communication. To learn nonviolent communication, to become aware of what our feelings are, which the mindfulness meditation helps us to become aware of our unmet needs and to be able to make a request, to use our voice, to not shut down, and to have a sincere desire not only to have our needs met, but to have other people's needs met, to have a win-win for everyone. And I'm committed to this. I am committed to our community fostering opportunities for people to learn mindfulness meditation and to learn nonviolent communication, because I believe these skills are life-saving for us individually and collectively as a humanity. So I'm going to look at fear number 2, which is kind of a combination or a jumping off from where we just were with fear number 1. And it's kind of a collection of several fears, but a fear in general that we won't be able to accomplish what we came here to accomplish, to give, to be in service to the world because of personal thoughts of inadequacy or because of being shut down when other people challenge us or greet us with a resistance of some kind. So, who are we not? Who are we not to be in full engagement with the world? Who are we? Why would we not shine our lights? If we really got who we are, like Mindy was singing, how could we not shine our lights? Right? So again, Marianne Williamson in that beautiful poem. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. This is beyond ego, for sure. It is beyond self-respect, even. It is beyond permission to speak up. There is a duty that we have, don't we? To shine our lights, to use our voice. It feels almost like a responsibility to life. That as I'm waking up to who and what I am, to allow that to come through, to shine forth. And that kind of idea, again, is a spiritual principle. And so some of the spiritual principles that we teach that back that idea is that life is always expanding to a greater expression of itself through us. We are the hands and feet of God here on our earth. We're the voice and the heart of the divine. When we recognize that all life is one, God is expressing through all for the greater good of all. Use me. Use me for the betterment of all. So those nudges that we get, those shoulder taps, those insights, the ideas that come to us, they're divinely gifted. Who are we to say no to that? Shine your light and fear not. So fear number 3, a fear of abandonment, of being left alone, or of not having friendships, or not having close connections with the people in our lives that we feel are important to us. Again, we live and move and have our being in a divine presence. The very source and substance of our existence is alive. There is a living God, if you will. How could we ever be alone? How could we ever be alone? So our calling is to cultivate that relationship. It's my primary focus in my life. It absolutely is the primary focus in my life, the spiritual practices that I have. And it's cultivating a relationship. That relationship is growing over this lifetime. So the spiritual principles are that there's one creator of everything, creating all out of itself, and that thereby the physical universe is the manifest body of God, which includes you and me. That we're spiritual beings having a human experience or a spiritual experience. We can choose. And that the divine is both transcendent and immanent. And the practical implications of our knowing that and of spiritual practices are that our relationship with God feeds our relationship with everyone else. And so daily, we want to have an intimate relationship, to feel that love and companionship within our own selves. And then no matter where we go, we're never alone. But that feeling that we carry within ourselves moves out, and it's an attracting quality, bringing people in, like a magnet, bringing people in towards ourselves. So if we're feeling lonely, if we want friendship, we first cultivate our relationship with the divine. And then, and this is so important, we have to stop our condemnation of others. We have to stop our judgments. We have to stop the finger pointing. We have to stop the blame, the criticisms. And I don't mean just those in your household, those in your immediate sphere. I mean everyone. This is New Thought 101. This is New Thought 101, that there's a thought of some kind, an unseen cause behind every appearance, good and bad, behind every condition, and that the condition will change as the thought or the cause changes. So if you desire more love, more friendship, more companionship, you need to check in with yourself, check that vibe that you're giving off, because it's affecting your immediate environment and beyond that. So let's move to that beyond that. This fourth and final fear is a big view, a big view. And it's several fears combined together. But the general theme here is that we are fearful for the state of our country. We're fearful for what our country, we presume our country is becoming. There's a fear of, quote, the divide between the haves and the have-nots is growing wider, that there's more people living in poverty, more people being oppressed, fewer at the top and more being oppressed. That power and money and material things are becoming more important than humanity, more important than people, education, decency, love, compassion, fairness, and equity. And we have fears about the legitimacy of the upcoming election. We have fears about the instability of democracy. We hear these fears. You cannot turn on the news. You cannot look at a newspaper. And many people I know are talking about it. So I want to ask you if you know what you want instead of all that. Do you know what you want instead? Because here's the spiritual principle. The universe isn't lacking. The universe isn't lacking. There's plenty for everyone. There's an abundance. There's balance. There's harmony. There's a rhythm. There's a flow that we can trust. There's no limitation to infinite source. There's no limitation to creative intelligence. There's no limitation in this universe. And the truth is, and I've already said it, we are the hands and feet of God. There is no Savior that will be descending to fix everything for us. I don't believe that. We are it. The time is now. We get to save the day. How are we going to do it? Not by being in our fears. Not by being in our fears. The contrast, as Abraham would call it, the contrast is pointing the way. It is pointing the way. The Dalai Lama, before, and even before Abraham, before Peace Pilgrim, before the Dalai Lama, Jesus, or others, we were understanding the paradox here in life. Heraclitus said that we would not have known the name of justice if these things had not occurred. So instead of pointing fingers and blaming and crying out, oh, how bad everything is, and fighting against and resisting what it is that we believe that we see, how about seeing through and finding the truth? Yeah, how about that? And here's one of my favorite quotes. You've heard me say it many times before. Michael Bernard Beckwith. If you believe more in what you don't see than what you do see, then what you do see you won't see, and what you don't see you will see. You see? And that's what Paul was saying in 2 Corinthians. What can be seen is temporal. What is unseen is changeless. That's what's real. That's what's true. If you believe more in what you don't see, if you believe more in what you see, I might have said that wrong the first time around. If you believe more in what you see, then we're stuck. But if you believe more in what you don't see, yeah, than what you do see, then what you do see you won't see, and what you don't see you will see. If you want something different than what you think you're seeing, you must have faith in something greater. You must have faith in something greater. Because you can't change life from the level that it was created. And I think you've heard that before too. And it's up to us. We are the politics of this country. We are the economy of this country. We think, we believe, and we choose from those thoughts and beliefs. We attract or repel love and peace and equity and fairness and compassion. All conditions are first manifest from a mental cause. Consciousness is collective and cumulative. So how should we behave when we know that we're contributing to what's being created? We are either a contagion of fear or a contagion of faith. We are either moving from fear or we have a positive approach to life. This is our choice. I'm going to leave us with this rather long quote from The Science of Mind, but it sums it up so beautifully. If one will have faith in himself, faith in his fellow man, in the universe, and in God, that faith will light the place in which he finds himself. And by the light of this faith, he will be able to see that all is good. And the light shed by this faith will light the way for others. We become conscious of darkness only when we are without faith. For faith is ever the light of our day and the light of our way, making that way clearly visible to us, even when to all others it may be beset with obstacles and ongoing rough. So next Sunday, during our contemplative service, we're going to do this. We are going to vision for our country. We are going to clearly have the vision visible to us so we can follow. Let it be said that we are walking our talk here, that the people at the Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast have confidence in God, have confidence in life, have confidence in each other, and that we are spreading a contagion of faith. And so it is. We're going to go back to Mindy.
Wow. Thank you, Theresa. I am always uplifted by your talks, and today, boy, did I need this. So I was asked to sing my arrangement of We Shall Overcome, but I am so inspired to bring this song to you that I'll give you a verse of We Shall Overcome, and then I'll say, I've got to move into this song that was written by Robert Anderson. So I will say, as we collectively work on raising our consciousness up to the divine and recognize that we are the divine, brought and consciously come to this earth to evolve all of humanity upwards. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. And why? Because we are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. Claim it, we are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the mothers who breathe with Mother Earth. We are the fathers blessed with a gentle strength. The sisters and the brothers respected hand in hand. The sons and the daughters who walk upon this sacred land. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the healers who hear the voice of truth. We are the elders whose wisdom guides our youth. The searchers and the seekers with wings spread to the sun. The shapers and builders whose work for peace is never done. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We're givers of mercy, believers in grace, singers of great beauty, and keepers of the faith. We are the sailors who've come back through the storm. We are the dreamers resting in God's arms, the dancers and the lovers who move beneath the stars, the masters and teachers whose visions remind us who we are. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. Oh yeah, we are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones that we've been waiting for, and we shall overcome. Together we will overcome. We can overcome today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday.
Oh, amen. Amen, Mindy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. We are the ones. We are the ones, and we are making choices every moment of every day. And so I appreciate you being here with us. I appreciate you sharing these messages, helping us awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence, helping to inspire us to do the work that we're here to do. And I also am grateful for your continued financial support of this ministry so we can continue to do what I know I'm called to do and Bobby is called to do, and all the other people like Mindy and Susie that we continue to bring on to share with you. It's what we're called to do, to make a difference in the world. And right now, Evan is posting on Facebook and then on YouTube. It's already posted there the ways that you can financially support this ministry, and also the Ernest Holmes affirmation of abundance. And I invite you to read that along with Bobby and I in a way that just adds power to your voice, holding back nothing, knowing the spiritual principle of the universe is that it is an abundant and supportive and loving universe. So we read this with the power in the word to create for both yourself and for others, for the entire world. Good and more good is mine.
An ever-increasing good is mine.
There is no limit to the good which is mine.
Everywhere I go, I see this good, I feel it, I experience it.
It crowds itself against me. It flows through me and expresses itself in me and multiplies itself around me.
I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on. I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on. Well, again, I want to thank you for being here with us, for participating in this community called Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast. And I want to remind you, as I opened this morning, we are having our, I guess it's really our second annual meeting of members and friends on Sunday, November 15th. After the service, it'll begin at 12:30, so you have a little bit of time to grab something to eat. Normally, we would be eating together, so we'll be doing this on Zoom. Everybody is invited to come. I will have an agenda out beforehand, and if you have anything any insights that you'd like to share, anything that you'd like to see on the agenda, I encourage you to send me an email. My email is Theresa@CSLCulturalcoast.org. We're going to take a breather, just a little breather between our classes and the Science Mind classes and the Nonviolent Communication class. They'll be starting back up in October. I don't have the exact schedule set yet, but our Thursday night meditations are continuing. Thursday night, facilitated by Julie Birch, one of our practitioners, and that's at 6:30. And again, don't forget that next Sunday we are going to vision for our country. And I'm very, very excited about doing that. So I am going to leave the screen now and post the link for our Zoom social that will start in just a few minutes, shortly after 12. And thank you for being with us this morning. Mwah! I love you. I love you. I love you.
Susie and Mindy, thank you very much for sharing with us this morning. It was delightful. Love you all.
Theresa, thank you for that inspiring talk. Thank you for that. As I always remind you, if you have prayer requests, please send them in. And also, if you have prayer, if you have an answer, if prayer has been answered in your life, we'd like to hear about that too. So send those to prayer@CSLCulturalCoast.org. And I'm gonna sing "I Release" to close today. And please release those fears. Release those fears. Raise your sights. Think about what you want in the world. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. I am only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, and I'm only here for God. There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say: I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. I am only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, and I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. I am only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, and I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit, and I'm only here for